Before we talk a little sports, of course, I do want to check in on how everyone's doing in the Jackson area. I believe I remember telling you last time I spoke to you, I lived there for a few years, so I know a few people that have been going through it right now, and I know the water crisis is still an issue, even though it's not really in the news as much anymore. Right. So could you kind of tell us a little bit how folks are doing down there and what still needs to be done?
The residents of Jackson are resilient. I'm elated to be a part of them and in this fight with them just for equality. I mean, when you just sit there and think about Jackson is the darn state's capital, and we dealing with this issue, we dealing with raggedy streets and unpaved situations, and even at HBCU level with overlooked and underserved, it's unbelievable. But there's no complaining by the residents. They just want solutions, and they really want understanding. If you communicate with them and tell them what's up and when is this going to be resolved, we're fine. And I say we because I'm a part of it. But that's why Jackson State football is so important, because we give them a breath of fresh air. We give them hope. We give them a escape every darn weekend, and usually that weekend comes out victorious, and they're even more elated and forget about the nuances and the nonsense of that's happening in Jackson with the state and the government.
Congratulations on a great start to the season. I know Jackson State's putting on a show every weekend from what I've heard from some of my friends down there and been able to keep up with you guys a little bit. So how have you felt the season's gone so far?
What I love about our group of young men is we won last week, I think 49-7, and they weren't satisfied. They wanted more, and they felt like they can do more. And I love that about them, because they're trying to be dominant. That was the theme of the season. Let's dominate. And they've been dominant.
Your son is absolutely balling out at quarterback for the Tigers this year. And I know you recently proclaimed that he should be in the Heisman conversation. And really, it's hard to argue with the numbers he's putting up. But what obstacles do you think still stand in the way of HBCU schools in being in those types of conversations?
Well, if he wasn't my son, I still would be having this argument. 100%. Just like I had the argument where these kids that play at HBCUs should be drafted. A year prior to me being here was no one drafted. Last year we had several players drafted, and I'm thankful and happy about that. But you can't tell me in a sense that I'm good enough to go somewhere and coach at a Power 5, but we're not good enough to be in your Power 5 Heismans. So something's wrong here. So how am I good enough, but we're not good enough? I don't understand that whatsoever. So they got to make a choice, and I got them in kind of a dichotomy.
I want to switch to the NFL for a bit here. What's your opinion on the enormous buzz surrounding Micah Parsons on the Cowboys? I know it's early in his career, but people are already calling him the second coming of Lawrence Taylor, and that's really high praise for a 23-year-old.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to do that, because it's not fair to him, and it's definitely not fair to arguably the best defensive player to ever lace him up. The kid is playing exceptional. He's a classy young man. He loves the game. He studies and prepares for the game, and you cannot do the things that he's doing on athleticism alone. But for him to go and have a substantial career that lasts a decade like the LTs, but I love everything about the kid and what he's accomplishing.
One more Cowboys question for you. I know it was obviously tough to see Dak go down early in the season, and Cooper Rush has done his job keeping the team afloat until he returns. But when Jerry Jones takes to the airwaves and says he's open to a quarterback competition, you have to think. So is that a smart motivation tool or an unnecessary distraction for the team right now, do you think?
Oh, it's brilliant. Jerry's brilliant. First of all, what was the team? 0-1 at the time? Mm-hmm. Okay. And no one's talking about him except in a negative connotation. Now, Jerry has a innate way of capturing the country's attention, while always making you feel like the Dallas Cowboys have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. And he did it once again. So he made you forget that they were 0-1. Now he made you think that could be a quarterback controversy. How in the world could there be a quarterback controversy with a guy that makes $50 million a year?
Exactly.
Who's that stupid?
You're right.
Why would we fall for that nonsense? But he's brilliant.
Okay, lastly, I want to play a little game with you. I know obviously your well-known nickname is Prime Time, and we know it's more than a nickname. It's a mindset, a personality. So I'm curious if you think other folks around the NFL embody that primetime persona. So I want to give you some names. Could you tell me if they give off primetime vibes or not?
Gotcha.
Perfect. All right, first one, Tyreek Hill.
He got that it. He is Florida boy. Come on, baby. Florida boy. You know how we get down. Florida. He has that it. He has it.
Okay. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is Tom Brady. But first of all, it's only a few of us you could mention by one name.
True.
You know, it's only Prince, the MJs, you know, stuff like that. Madonna. Okay. All you say is Brady. All you just say is Brady. Yeah. That's it. You don't have to say no more. That's it. He's one of those.
Time.
Yes.
Immediately.
Right.
All right, Aaron Rodgers.
I love Aaron. I wouldn't say prime time because he's been the same generation of Tom. It can't be but one.
Facts.
But Aaron he's knocking on the door. I love
Lamar
Aaron.
Jackson. How do you feel about him?
Florida, baby. Florida boys get the exemption. They already in there. You know, they already in there with me. He's a Florida boy. We come with that. We come with that swagger. We come with that attitude.
Okay, so I want to throw in a coach then, since you say Florida. Okay, well, Dolphins. The Dolphins coach, Mike McDaniels. Would you say he's prime time?
No, he ain't ready. Bill Belichick, though.
Okay, poor Mike McDaniels. All right, Travis Kelce.
Oh my God. Yes. Man, he sits on the board. Yes, that's one of my favorites. Baby, that's my guy.
Favorites.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. He is it.
Daniel Jones.
No. Don't you ever put those two together. Don't you ever. It's like peanut butter and mayonnaise. You can't put it together. That's jelly. All right, jelly.
I'm crying. Okay. All right, last one. Andy Reid. He does have that Hawaiian shirt.
Andy Reid gets in because the lifetime.
Honorable mention, maybe.
No, lifetime achievement.
Lifetime achievement.
In because he's a lifetime achievement award. I love me some Andy Reid.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. Andy Reid, I could come off the field a long day and I look at my phone and I'm telling you, Andy Reid, Coach Reid, I'm sorry for calling him Andy, will leave me a message just to encourage me.
Oh.
And I love that. So he is my guy. I love Coach Reid.
Hey sports fans, if you want to watch more sports seriously, be sure to check out these clips right here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all the great content from us here at USA Today Sports.